Alfred Knapp, one of the two children born to Cyrus and Susanna Knapp, entered the world in Terre Haute. In his later life, Knapp found himself incarcerated for a series of violent assaults on women, serving time in state prisons. Interestingly, amidst these troubled times, he sought solace in the Fourth Christian Church and embraced membership in the Christian Endeavor Society. Surprisingly, he was characterized as a man of unpretentious demeanor within these religious circles. At the time of his apprehension, he was residing in Indianapolis with his fourth spouse. On December 21, 1903, a shocking incident unfolded involving Hannah Knapp, who was Alfred's third wife. On that fateful morning, Alfred was overcome by a horrifying impulse to strangle her, and tragically, he carried out this gruesome act. Following the murder, Alfred placed her lifeless body into a box, securely sealing it, and then transported it roughly 2 miles away before disposing of it in the Great Miami River. After Hannah's mysterious disappearance, Alfred remained in Cincinnati for several days, making frequent visits to his sister, Sadie Wenzel. Suddenly, he announced his intention to search for his missing wife, but soon after, he relocated first to his previous residence in Hamilton and then to Indianapolis. On January 2, 1903, he crossed paths with Anna Mae Gamble, whom he swiftly married on February 4. However, on February 25, suspicion fell upon Knapp, leading to his arrest on charges of murdering his wife. He was returned to Hamilton, where he soon confessed to strangling Hannah and disposing of her in the river. To the astonishment of law enforcement, the very next day, Knapp admitted to the murders of 4 other women and a young girl, spanning from 1894 onwards. The victims of his confessions were Emma Littleman, killed in a lumberyard in Cincinnati on June 21, 1894. Mary Eckert, murdered on Walnut Street in Cincinnati on August 1, 1894. Jenny Connors Knapp, Alfred's second wife, murdered on Liberty Street in Cincinnati on August 17, 1894. Ida Gebhard, a child, murdered in Indianapolis in July 1896. Despite these chilling confessions, suspicions lingered that Knapp might have been responsible for more unsolved murders, as he himself admitted to assaulting innocent children and choking them. Knapp's trial captivated both the contemporary press and the public, propelling him to an unusual sort of celebrity status. On his way to the courtroom, he exhibited a sociable demeanor, engaging in conversations with police officers and receiving courteous treatment. Lacking legal representation, his sister Sadie, his sole family companion, stepped in as his defense. Throughout the trial, Knapp appeared disinterested and indifferent, while his sister endeavored to persuade the jury of his mental instability, advocating for his placement in a mental institution. The prosecution faced significant challenges, as there was a dearth of evidence connecting Knapp to his wife's murder during the initial trial, compounded by the fact that her body remained undiscovered. However, on March 3, 1903, a nude female body was discovered along the river in New Albany, Indiana. It was promptly identified as that of Hannah Knapp, given the presence of identical jewelry and rings she had worn on the day of her disappearance, details consistent with Alfred's confession. When confronted with this new revelation, Alfred reiterated his previous statements. March 10 saw Knapp subpoenaed as a witness in the trial of Joseph Roth, a man accused of assaulting 2 young girls named Hattie and Stella Motzer. Despite denying any involvement, Alfred was compelled to testify due to his resemblance to Roth, fueling speculation that the girls had made a mistaken identification. On July 16, Knapp, relying solely on an insanity defense, was convicted and handed a death sentence, with no possibility of commutation. Despite the profound impact of the verdict on his sister and mother, Knapp displayed an apathetic attitude, remarking 3 hours after the trial, "I suppose it is all off with me." On September 2, Judge Belden rejected a motion for a new trial, with Knapp's attorney announcing their intent to appeal the verdict. Throughout the process, Alfred Knapp remained detached, his gaze fixed on the ceiling. On January 4, 1904, Judge Swing from the Circuit Court granted Knapp a new trial, citing errors during the initial proceedings. The primary error revolved around the admission of his written confession to the jury. Subsequently, on July 22, Knapp's attorney, Thomas Darby, filed an appeal to the State Board of Pardons on Knapp's behalf, which was ultimately rejected. August 19, 1904, marked the day of Alfred Knapp's execution via the electric chair at the Ohio Penitentiary. He succumbed to the deadly jolt 6 minutes following the initial shock, maintaining his silence and declining to provide any additional confessions. Shortly after his execution, newspapers drew parallels between his crimes and those of H. Holmes, highlighting that, unlike Holmes, Knapp seemed to have perpetrated his acts driven solely by a malevolent desire to inflict harm.